Okay, I'm having a question on having visits, having classes. Sorry. Um, so the first time I remember anything having to do with having classes was registration, and it was in a dream that had several parts. The first part was being in a restaurant where on the menu pizza, there was pizza for sale. It usually is for $9.99, a pizza. But on this menu, it was $99. And the people in the restaurant were like an old pastor. I used to have an old pastor in Colorado. And I wasn't sure what it meant, but what the Holy Father was telling me is when I prayed, he said things that are usually cheap to get, spiritual things, this pastor and pastors like this charge you a lot of money for something that is kind of cheap. And so there are pastors that are like that. They will bleed you dry and make you pay a lot of money for something that's basically, all you have to do is pray and ask God for it. And the price you pay basically is sincerity and, the elbow grease of praying daily. And then outside of the restaurant was a quote unquote friend, Renee, and she has this way about her. She said, "Let me take care of your cars." Well, I had purchased some cars to sell, and she was doing odd things, like she wanted to take care of one of my cars, and I knew she was going to do something auspicious with it, so I didn't let her have the key. So she's the type of person that is not trustworthy. And then the third thing that happened was there was a person who basically is, I say he's a friend, but he lies a lot. This third person lies a lot. And I was on my way to register, and he stopped and got in my way of getting to the registration. And finally, I got past him, and then I walked to the registration for the heaven classes. And then there were other people there looking at the different classes. I remember one of the classes was for crochet. And so that was the first dream about heaven classes. And what I'm thinking is that what God is trying to say is all these people that were in the dream, I think, are people that are like liars and people that get in the way of you finding God and finding truth. They get in your way of using up your time. There's a lot of people that, because I'll have a person that calls and just wastes my time and will just call whenever they feel like it and jabber, and then as soon as they get to their destination, basically I gotta go by. So they're users. They use you as I always dream about this person with a convenience store, because he just uses me as a convenience, calls me when it's convenient and wastes my time when I'm busy, and then drops the phone call and basically makes me feel like a value of zero, basically just rude. And Renee was another one that she would use me too. I would help her because I felt a need to repay, because she had helped me in the past, and I would stay by her side helping her, but she did have a tendency to use me also. And then the pastor, there are pastors that use their congregation to get wealthy, and that's what this pastor was doing. And he did. He used the congregation to he used the whole congregation to go to Jerusalem, and every member of the congregation would get stuff and put it in their suitcases, and what they would get would go to the store he had to sell stuff where he made money off of it. And then he would use people from the congregation to volunteer their time. He wouldn't even pay them. And the money he would get, he ended up not buying a new house, but making a new house like from the foundation up. So God is saying that these are people that use you, is what I'm getting. And I think these are the people that get in the way of you seeing truth, the true truth of heaven. They portray themselves as friends, but they're not. They're kind of like fake friends. But then after getting through those three sets of people, I ended up registering for the heaven classes, which is, I think, represents truth. So what I did was I saw it on It's Supernatural, and it was a lady who had like a mentally disabled child. And she was talking about she would pray for her son, and then her son woke her up in the middle of the night and said, "Mom, God explained the Holy Spirit like this," and the little boy who was mentally disabled was explaining to his mother how the Holy Spirit worked. And I think it was the Holy Spirit, or it could have been Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But he was explaining to his mom some sophisticated Bible information, which made her wonder how he knew. Well, she found out that he was having heaven classes, which the little boy was mentally disabled. And now all of a sudden he knew things that she didn't even know. So what I did was I said, okay, God, if these classes are for real, I want to go to one. So that's when I dreamed the registration. And then the second time I had the dream was I was sitting in this class, and I couldn't look at the teacher because it was so bright. The light in the room was so bright. And somebody said in the class, they said, "She's not sleeping. She's just looking down or something. She's listening." And I'm not so basically I was I was here on earth, but my spirit was allowed to go to heaven to a class. And so what I'm thinking, because I heard somebody say that there are no like lamps and stuff in heaven because God is the light. Well, the light was there was such a bright light in the room in heaven, I couldn't look up at the person in the classroom. It was so bright, and that's how bright God's light is that emanates from him. Excuse me, I just ate popcorn, is what I'm thinking. So that was my second, but I don't remember anything else after that second class. Now I have had other dreams where I was being taught, but I don't think it was a heavens class. I think it was maybe it was, I don't know. They were lessons, but I don't know if they were actual heaven classes. But anyways, that's what I know. That's I got popcorn stuck in my throat. Sorry, I apologize. That's what I know. My experience isn't like in depth, maybe like Kat Kerr, because Kat Kerr probably knows a lot more than me. But with a little bit that I know, I give it to you and tell you it's for real. And all you have to do is ask your Holy Father and keep asking. Don't give up. And eventually you'll get there. They're just like the things that happened before the registration. There could be things that try to take your focus off of God. So try to keep your focus on the Holy Father. And keep asking. Just keep asking. Don't give up. I asked for I don't know, for months before I got those heaven visits. Excuse me. But once I did get them, I started encouraging one of my friends to pray for it. Now I put it on my YouTube because it's God's blessing, and I want people to know. I don't want to, it's like they say, if you have a light, don't hide it under a bushel. I don't want to hide something beautiful under a bushel. I want everybody to know. And so, yeah, they do exist, but I don't think it'll happen right away. And if there's stuff in your life that's crowding your life up and taking your focus off of God, it may take a little bit longer to get to the heaven visits. So, understand that is if there's stuff in your life that's trying to take you away from the Holy Father, it could postpone these heaven visits. So, keep pressing in, keep praying, don't give up, daily ask. Eventually you get them. I don't know how consistent they'll be because I haven't had that I know of. I haven't had any heaven visits or heaven classes. I have had some supernatural experiences. They were not heaven classes. They were kind of me just, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you. I pray a lot for people to have Joel 2 dreams. I used to pray on tons of chats, and so I'm doing work. I'm doing heaven work while I'm sleeping to initiate these Joel 2 dreams and help people have them. From what I understand in the dreams, I bring people into, it's like a spiritual pathway to have these Joel 2 dreams. It's hard to explain, but while I'm sleeping, my spirit man travels and I do work for the Holy Father. So it's kind of a ministry that I have that I wasn't aware of, but it was basically if you pray, if you pray and vocally, or you write down prayers for other people, God could have you working for him in your sleep time. And that's basically what he's had me doing, is work. Because when I pray for people, I have to basically do kind of like the footwork too, to help him to get things to happen. And it's I think we all are able to do it. You just have to pray for people, and excuse me, your holy angel, the holy angel with you, will help you serve others in the spiritual realm. But it's your spirit man will be doing work as you sleep. I To me it's kind of natural because it's happened to me and I pray a lot. But if you haven't experienced things like this, all you have to do is ask, because our Holy Father loves us, and he will show you everything. I know, because I'm no better than anybody else. We're all equal in God's eyes. The only difference with me is that I ask a lot and I pray a lot. I'm nosy, and I like to learn and ask the Holy Father about stuff. So be nosy and ask God, petition, but be diligent every day, and eventually you will get what you're asking for. I hope that made sense. I know I may sound a little bit like Cat Kerr, but these spiritual adventures, they're real. You just have to ask God to show you, and he will. He loves to pour information into his children, We're his beloved babies. He loves us, and he will be more than happy to show you all the stuff I'm explaining. All right. Have a blessed night.